Do you know what time it is? I said, do you know what time it is? Well, in case you don't know, allow me to fill you in, my simple-minded peonic friend. But before we dive into those facts, make sure you're doing the basic fucking bare minimum. And by bare minimum, I mean donating, supporting. Follow me over the fucking Twitch. I constantly urge you fucking retards to do the basic fucking bare minimum. How hard is it to click a fucking link in the description of this very video? You fucking retards? You motherfuckers wonder why I rarely upload videos now. I only make a video if somebody donated. That's the only time I create content. I disable all comments on my videos because my videos were just filled to the brim with worthless idiots with nothing to say, with nothing new to bring to the table. Now I limited comments on all of my videos, so only the comments I approve of will appear on my video. You pussies that comment and say you're bullshit, you just get banned and your comment never shows. Peons? Like I said before, do the basic fucking bare minimum. You motherfuckers shield for all these shitty cookie cutter generic content creators with the shitty generic copy and paste content. But a real motherfucker like me comes on the screen, being authentic, being unfiltered, being realistic, being higher level, just in general, being fundamentally better than you people in every way. When I come on the screen, I hear crickets. You worthless ass bums, shouts out to the people who actually donate support. The rest of you freeloading bitch ass bums, get banned, bitch. Anyway, let's get on to the topic of this amazing, well-analytical, in-depth, amazing, well-crafted, sophisticated content that I provide on a daily basis. As you all know, I have this format of creating highly sophisticated, analytical, in-depth content, top 10s, exposing the most garbage, overrated anime and manga, and I expose garbage games on a daily basis, but I never expose the most garbage, overrated games of all time. I never made a video like that. So I had an epiphany, because over the decades, the most garbage, overrated games have come out that people claim to be good, but if you actually look at them through the lens of my higher thought, you'll start to realize that those games are never as good as those people claimed. So without further ado, these are the most garbage, overrated games of all time. This is an objective list. This is not subjective. This is not an opinionated list. This is an objective list. These are garbage ass games that you motherfuckers, you losers watching this video, you claim it to be good, but in reality does not come close to being good. Anyway, let's get on to the fucking list. Alright, first up on the list is the absolute travesty known as Half-Life 2. And I can't for the love of God tell you why people hype this game up. I never understood why people were hyping and anticipating a release date for Half-Life 3 when Half-Life 2 itself is a garbage ass game. And of course you'll have the predictable contrarians who will say, you just don't understand. For its time, the story was so revolutionary. It put gaming on the map in terms of storytelling. The weapon you used to pick up the metal objects and fling shit, that was such a unique and revolutionary concept. You just don't understand. Get the fuck out of here. Even for its time, it was complete garbage. There were better FPSs with better stories, better games in general with better stories, better FPSs with better weapons than this garbage. There's nothing unique or interesting about this game. Not to mention it's made by that trash company Valve, just like Bethesda, who uses the exact same game engine for all of their fucking games. The engine was made in like 1998 or something, and they used the exact same engine. I guarantee you if Half-Life 3 came out, it would look exactly like Half-Life 2. An ugly mess of a game that even for its time was complete shit. And this isn't like some type of thing where the game didn't age well. Like the game was good when it first came out and now it's bad. Like no, I don't believe in aging. A game is either good from the start till the end of time, timeless, or it was never good from the start. This game is just a textbook example of people hyping up garbage because they don't have the quality standards that I have to hype up and appreciate quality games. They just hype up. They see everybody else sucking this game off, so I guess that means it's good. Like, get the fuck out of here. You people only suck this game off. Most of modern day gamers only suck this game off because a YouTube video listed it in the top 10, best PC games of all time or some shit. None of these people actually play this fucking game. This game is complete dog shit. Valve is a hack company that makes the exact same games like these other shitty companies. And Half-Life 2 was never a good game and it never will be. Trash. Alright, next up on the list is the absolute garbage known as Bloodborne. And if you're from my channel, if you know of me, you should know that I absolutely fucking despise From Software games. They're the textbook definition of repurposing, reprinting the exact same fucking game, copy and paste, 24/7. Even worse than Nintendo. And it's funny, people will call out Nintendo for that, but they'll stay silent, lips fucking sealed when it comes to From Software, repurposing the exact same fucking game. And people will say Bloodborne is the magnum opus of the company, which is funny, which is really telling to the quality of From Software, because this is the exact same thing as Dark Souls, but somehow even worse. Because unlike Dark Souls, which was a terrible ass game in all accounts, at least it was a bullshit game that didn't have farming. Bloodborne is just a farming fucking simulator. You gotta farm for blood vials to heal. If you die, you fight a boss, you use all your heal potions. You just gotta farm. And it just takes fucking hours and hours upon hours. They took a formula which is inherently terrible in Dark Souls, but somehow made it worse. And of course these peons, these contrarians will say, get good, motherfucker, I beat the game. That doesn't change the fact that it's complete shit. And of course these people will say, if you don't like the game, why didn't you beat it? But if I don't play the game and call it shit, then they will say, how can you call the game shit and you haven't played it? Like, are you people so retarded? But I see what you people want. You people want me to say what everybody else says. I'm coming here spitting facts, being objective about these garbage ass games. But I'm not praising the game. I play it. Yet I still get ridiculed. I don't play it. I still get ridiculed. Man, you From Software fanboys are fucking losers. You people are losers. You're always going to be losers playing the same box standard garbage, generic, typical ass games with no innovation. And Bloodborne is somehow worse than Dark Souls, which is a feat in of itself because Dark Souls itself is just such a horrible ass game. But yeah, From Software really just hit the home run when it comes to just garbage, repurposed, retooled games sold at a fixed retail price for idiots to consume without a second thought of cohesion when it comes to just repurposing the same rinse and repeat bullshit. Horrible ass game. The fact that this game won Game of the Year should speak volumes about the current quality control of the gaming industry. Horrible game. Next up is the absolute garbage known as Dark Souls. What can I say? The most quintessential overrated garbage game in the last decade or so. You got so many retards on Twitter and YouTube always including this game or some shitty From Software game in their top 10. Just goes to show their terrible taste. But what can I say? This is the game that supposedly started it all. Difficulty in video games, because prior to this game, I guess games were just not hard. And the funny thing about this game's difficulty is it's not even hard. I promise you, if you've never played this garbage ass game, stay away from it. Don't believe the hype, but the enemies, the bosses are not the hard thing in this game. What is truly challenging about this game is how poorly developed it is. I'm telling you, you will die more from the hit detection errors, the collision errors, the fucked up level design. That will kill you more than any boss in this game. Any boss. You can look at any runs on this game. You'll just see bad, terrible, glitchy bullshit. And the fact that the fans praise this game when it's so poorly developed just shows you the type of mental trauma these people have to have somewhere in their skull, somewhere in their membrane, because it's not normal processing logic. And this is a spiritual successor to that trash ass Demon Souls, which came out like a decade ago. And that game was so trash, it almost made the company go bankrupt. The company didn't even want to release the game. And this game comes out a couple years later, Dark Souls, and apparently, this game is more or less the exact same thing as that trash ass Demon Souls. But people were shitting on that game, rightfully so, because it was terrible. But people are praising this game for being more or less the exact same thing as fucking Demon Souls? Makes no sense. Again, From Software games suffer from all the exact same problems. Besides the fact they're all copy and pasting the exact same fucking thing, all of them have terrible hit detection, but, fucked up glitches and shit, terrible level design. But it started with this game. It started with Dark Souls. It started with these fake wannabe pretentious elitists lamenting, claiming this game to be, the magnum opus of action games. No. A real action game that requires skill is Ninja Gaiden, DMC. Not this shitty rinse and repeat roll, rinse and repeat for 30 hours. It's just rolling and slashing. That's not skill. That's not. And it never will be. There's nothing hard about this game and it never will be good. Trash game, horrible. From Software is the hackiest company in recent time. Worse than worse than Rockstar, worse than Activision, worse than EA, Bethesda, worse than these shitty ass companies. From Software is the worst because of their fan base, their drone consumerism cuck fan base that shields for the exact same bullshit and they pretend like each game is an innovation. It'll be different if these people just, accepted the fact that all of these games are the same, but no, they try to just deny those facts, try to give these rundowns of these small improvements with each installment, when in reality they're not big enough improvements to change the fact that all of these games are the exact same copy and paste bullshit. Horrible ass game. Fuck this game. Dark Souls is easily the most garbage overrated game. Next up is the garbage known as Nier Automata. Now, I already made an amazing, in-depth, well-crafted analysis video exposing this game and its sequel, but to sum it up, garbage, boring, repetitive, rinse and repeat, no skill required hack and slash game that tries to be an RPG, that tries to be a discount DMC, but isn't as good. The main selling point, drawing point to this game that made it sell so well was 2B's design. She has a big ass, so all of the virgins and cucks and losers that like that type of shit only bought the game specifically for 2B to jerk off to her. People try to lament, they'll cry and bitch and say this game has an amazing, in-depth, well-crafted story, but nobody actually bought this game for the quote-unquote well-written story, and the story is not well-written. It's just cheesy, boring list, philosophical, wannabe pretentious garbage. Yoko Taro is a complete hack. He cannot write for shit. He just kills people. These characters just say meaningless shit about life and death, and apparently I'm supposed to just find that shit deep. Anybody saying that this story in this game is deep or in any Nier game is a complete retard and idiot. Nier is just a shitty ass game that should have never been made. It's really disgusting that Square Enix just published this game, but Square Enix has not been good since like 2005, so I guess I can't blame them. Not to mention they made that trash ass Avengers game. But yeah, Nier Automata is just a garbage, overrated game that will never be good. I don't know how this game won Game of the Year, but that sequel came out, nobody gave a shit about it. But again, people were just sucking this game off the jack off the 2B. You got so many figures and statues of her. This series is just going to be known for 2B, not the shitty garbage gameplay. And God forbid the gameplay be known because it was terrible. God forbid anybody play this game in modern day because it's terrible. But again, the only saving grace, the only thing this game will be known for is 2B. They're putting her as a guest character in video games like Soul Calibur and shit. None of the other characters matter because they're just worthless, horrible ass game with a terrible story, terrible combat, and it will never be good. Trash. Alright, next up on the list is the absolute garbage known as The Witcher 3. Made by that trash hack company CD Projekt Red. The funny thing about this franchise, right? The first two games got absolutely zero publicity. Nobody was talking about them because they were horrible games with terrible combat. And Witcher 3 continues that tradition of terrible combat, terrible gameplay, terrible story, terrible graphics, even for that time. Made by that hack company CD Projekt Red. When will you people learn that this company isn't good? All you retards were hyping up that Cyberpunk game for like a decade, right? I was the first person to expose that game. Check my video from 10 months ago. Everybody was sucking the game off. Everybody was calling me crazy. And yet now you pussies wanna say I'm right. Yeah, you were right all along. Were you a prophet? Yeah, like get the fuck out of here, bitch. I'm always right. I'm always right. Just like how The Witcher 3, I'm right about The Witcher 3. This game is complete shit. It was never good. Just a boring fetch quest with terrible combat. The combat is just as bad as the other two Witcher games, which is saying something because the combat in the first two Witcher games was dog shit, but this game just kind of ramps it up to a whole new level. The combat just makes no sense. Just a Middle Earth ripoff, but not as good. The cutscenes are cringeworthy as fuck. Like the acting, the motion capture in the cutscenes are terrible. Like they get actual people to direct this shit because this is just a Lord of the Rings ripoff, but not as good, not as well made, with bad gameplay, bad stories, bad characters galore. Just a bunch of losers. Just a bunch of losers hype this game up. There's a reason nobody's talking about this game anymore. It was getting sucked off the high heaven when it first came out for like the first 3 years. Nobody talks about this game anymore. And CD Projekt Red, basically a blacklisted company. They can't even sell Cyberpunk in stores anymore because that game was so bad. But they should have did that with this game too because it's just as bad. Horrible ass game. Next up is the piece of shit known as Persona 5. Now, I made a video a few years ago absolutely demolishing this game, exposing the fuck out of this game in every fundamental way, saying what everybody else couldn't say, completely giving a thorough, analytical, masterpiece execution of this garbage ass game. But to sum it up, it's easily the most garbage overrated JRPG in recent time, and that's saying something because there's a lot of garbage overhyped JRPGs in modern day, like Nier Automata, fucking Final Fantasy 14, just a lot of shitty ass games. Those Legend of the Legendary Hero games or whatever, those games are garbage too. But Persona 5 takes the cake when it comes to just overrated garbage JRPGs. Just another generic dating simulator for virgins who can't get any in real life, so they have to substitute themselves as the main protagonist to feel like they're special because they know no woman in real life would ever talk to them. I reiterated all of these points in my previous video, and it still stands today. Look at any Persona fan. Look at the god-awful fan base. Just weirdos galore. Just a bunch of losers thinking this game is the pinnacle of gaming. Motherfuckers will say, I don't like JRPGs, but I like Persona 5. Motherfucker, what? You like an inferior JRPG? You don't like the genre, but you like a garbage game from that genre? That doesn't make any sense. Not to mention this game is easy as fuck because I put this game on auto pilot and you can just one-shot bosses just doing that, not pressing anything. Just an easy mode ass game. The characters are horrible. The story is contradictory. It makes no sense. There's no deeper themes or deep commentary about society in this game. All the characters contradict themselves. There's just nothing interesting about this game. There are way better Atlas JRPGs. There are way better JRPGs in general than this garbage ass game. Anybody limiting themselves to just Persona 5 when it comes to the JRPG genre, I really feel bad for you. You just don't know what quality is. This is a textbook example of people who just don't know any better. Instead of experiencing all of the quality games that you're missing out on, way better games than this garbage. This is easily an F tier game. F tier JRPG in terms of gameplay, story, production, and especially overrated garbage. Horrible game. Next up is the garbage known as Sekiro, aka the poor man's Tenchu, aka the poor man's Ninja Gaiden. And what do you know? Another From Software game makes the cut. I wonder why. I'm starting to see a pattern. To sum it up, repetitive garbage suffers from all the same problems as every other Dark Souls game. People try to, these fanboys will admit and say that this is the hardest game. This game is amazing because it's a little bit more faster paced than those other games, but it's still way slower than something like Ninja Gaiden, and the combat is just as bad as Dark Souls. And something like Ninja Gaiden, where you can move fast as fuck, like you and your opponent move fast as fuck, and you have to be on edge 24/7. This game is similar, but it's still way slower than something like that. And plus, this game has the similar combat to something like Dark Souls, and not the intricate, well-balanced combat in something like Ninja Gaiden or DMC, making it inferior in every way. It's the exact same game. It's just Dark Souls sped up 1.5 speed. That's it. That's it. You can jump, you can use the stupid ass grappling hook, but you know, they changed the setting a little bit, try to act like it's a different game when it's really the exact same fucking game. The exact same game. You idiots just pretend like it's not. That's the hilarious thing. When will you people wake up? When will you people realize that these games are just repetitive garbage? Sekiro is one of the worst games ever made. And yet again, this is another game that won Game of the Year. But it just goes to show there are no good games coming out. If some garbage like this, repetitive shit like this can win Game of the Year, it just shows that gaming is truly dead. Truly dead. Can't recover with garbage like this still coming out. But yeah, Sekiro is a horrible game. Anybody saying this game is good is an idiot. There are way better hack and slash action games that actually require skill. And not this fake ass wannabe, Dark Souls shit, just a little bit more sped up trash. Next up on the list is the OG Red Dead Redemption. Now I could have put Red Dead Redemption 2 because that game is also fucking garbage. But this game, I got the biggest beef with this game because people swear on their livelihood that this game is good when it isn't. It isn't. Let me tell you something. Rockstar has not been good since the 2000s. Their last truly great game was San Andreas. GTA San Andreas, Bully, the Manhunt games. But Red Dead Redemption, this is not part of the golden age. This game is golden shit. horrible ass game. It's just GTA but with cowboys. Why would you want to play a game like GTA set in the Wild Wild West? No cars, no cool guns, no jetpacks, no cool cheat codes, no nothing, no cool story, just a shitty cowboy story. Cowboys have been done to death. Not to mention, this game gets praised for shit that GTA does. The open world sandbox style, a whole bunch of customizable bullshit. GTA San Andreas Vice City did that shit way before this game. The story in this game is nothing special. Nothing at all about this game screams revolutionary or innovative. So it really confuses me why this game is rated so highly by people who don't know what good gaming is. I'm really confused why people suck this game off. Out of all the games on this list, I can at least see why people might suck them off because they're idiots. But this game has absolutely no redeeming qualities to it. Nothing. It does nothing to stand out from the other GTA superior, older GTA games, and does nothing better. It's just a mediocre product that was never good. Just like the second game, it tried to capitalize off that trash GTA 5 and it ended up being just as trash as that game. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is somehow worse, which is saying something because this game is absolutely awful. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption is just one of the most overrated garbage games. Rockstar is just never going to be good. They're just going to milk GTA 5 for the rest of their livelihood. And yeah, that's it. Next up is the garbage known as God of War 2018. Or should I say walking simulator with a few extra steps? Because that's basically what this is, a glorified walking simulator. You know, the OG God of War games were trash, but at least they were mindless hack and slash games that you could just turn your brain off mash, and now they're trying to make Kratos this deep, compelling character with a generic story to boot. They sacrifice the jumping, the puzzles, you know, the cool action, the action you could do in the OG games for shitty, generic Horizon gameplay, Last of Us gameplay. If Last of Us didn't exist, this game would not exist. Or at least it would have existed like the other God of War games instead of this shitty movie cutscene simulator hybrid. This is nothing but a glorified movie simulator with generic button mashy gameplay, but somehow worse than the original games, which is impressive because the OG games were just the most, you know, button mashy, quick time event heavy bullshit ever. But this game just takes that shit to a whole new level of shit by stripping all of the originality, the charm of those games, and making it a lifeless husk to capitalize off the success of all these fake gaming frauds who think that this is a good game. You got actual people who defend this trash. Luckily, I'm starting to see people come around and realize that this is a garbage game. There are a few videos of people giving thorough analysis executions of this garbage, much like myself, but you still got a lot of mindless buck wild fanboys defending this trash as if it's actually good. No, this game is horrible. One of the worst games to come out in recent time. Awful game. Next up on the list is every single Call of Duty game ever made. You know, Call of Duty has always been a trash franchise, but it was at least competent during the OG era, up to Modern Warfare 2, which is an actually good game. But after that, they just completely jumped the shark, adding these weird jetpack bullshit, adding on features, taking away features, making it a pay-to-win bullshit. Just a horrible franchise that just started off pretty decent and just spiraled down to mediocrity, and even worse than mediocrity, it spiraled down to just appealing to the lowest common denominator. Easily the worst franchise ever made, which again is impressive because there are a lot of terrible franchises on this list. I mean, all of these garbage games on this list prove that. But Call of Duty is easily the worst video game franchise ever made. Every game is just made to waste your time. If this game didn't exist, I guarantee you there would be a lot more productive members of society. I used to play Call of Duty a lot back in the day, especially MW2, the last good Call of Duty game, but I was just wasting my time playing trash when I could be playing better games, playing quality games, playing games that make you think, playing games that are actually entertaining and not the same retarded, you know, you spawn behind an enemy, he murders you instantly, a whole bunch of terrible weapons that get introduced in every new installment. Just horrible. Horrible. Every game got worse and worse. It started off good, but it got worse and worse in this franchise. It's just complete shit. No 10-hour analysis needed. This franchise used to be good, and it's not good anymore. I don't know why all these other people are be making these videos. The fall of Call of Duty. It's not that, it's not that complex. It used to be good, decent. Now it isn't. It's one of the worst franchises, if not the worst, most milked garbage franchise of all time. Next to Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed garbage like Far Cry. But yeah, horrible franchise. I will never play COD again. I haven't played COD in over a decade, and I'm going to continue that pursuit. Fuck this franchise. Next up is the garbage known as GTA 5. There ain't much to say about this one. The fact that this game has spanned 3 console generations should tell you Rockstar's end goal with this franchise, this game. They're going to milk this game till we finally colonize Mars. They're going to have just satellites of GTA 5 so all the aliens can just indulge in this trash ass game. They're not making a GTA 6. If they do, that shit probably gonna flop. Nobody's gonna give a fuck about it because there are so many kids role playing on GTA 5 doing all kinds of weird shit. This game is just horrible. This is one of Rockstar's worst games, which again is impressive because they just made that trash Red Dead Redemption 2. But this game is somehow probably even worse. I mean, they're both garbage, but GTA 5 is just terrible. It does nothing to improve upon its predecessors. And in some ways, it's even worse than GTA 4. Because if you look at the physics of GTA 5 and 4, the physics in GTA 4 are actually vastly superior. GTA 5 is a downgrade. The only reason people are sucking this game off is because a lot of little kids are playing it. A lot of little ass kids don't know about the golden age of GTA like San Andreas, quality sandbox games like that. They're playing trash like this, role playing and shit, playing that trash ass GTA Online. Just a bunch of weirdos, bro. If you're still playing GTA 5 after almost 10 years of it coming out, you have to be a weirdo. I played this game a couple times when it came out, never touched it again. One of the worst GTA games and one of the worst games ever made. Trash. Next up is every Halo game ever made. Now, Halo has always been garbage, cheesy, corny, predictable, wannabe, quality FPS that could never compare to the actual good FPSs that were out at the time. It's always been a cheesy story with bad gameplay, and of course you'll have the contrarian fanboys say, "You don't know what you're talking about. Halo redefined what it means to be an FPS on console gaming." It didn't redefine shit. It redefined how trash Xbox has always been since day one. That's what it redefined. This game is horrible. The franchise is horrible. Every game sucks. All the weapons suck. There were way better FPSs at the time on console when the first one came out, with way better gameplay, way better story. Halo never did anything interesting or unique. It was always trash. The main reason people sucked off Halo was because of the online. It was a lot of people's first online experience on console, or maybe just online in general when it comes to online gaming, and people just got fond memories. The only reason people suck this trash off is because of nostalgia. Nostalgia is a powerful drug, but that's what a lot of games on this list. Just nostalgia, just taking control of their brain, their cortex, their cerebral cortex, making them think this shit is good, with the rose-tinted glasses. But if you take that shit off, you'll realize this game just isn't, this franchise, it just is not good, and it never was. But yeah, Halo is horrible. Microsoft has no iconic franchises, and they never did. Halo is just a terrible wannabe FPS, discount FPS that was never good. Horrible franchise. That Halo Infinite will also be terrible. Next up is the Sony Naughty Dog movie hybrid exclusive that's supposedly supposed to pass as a video game. Oh man. What's been said about this video game, supposedly alleged video game, that hasn't been said already? Well, for starters, it's complete trash because for some reason there are a slew of people that think this game is good, which is incredibly baffling that there are so many mentally challenged individuals who think a movie simulator like this passes as a video game. This has all the problems as their previous game, Uncharted. No gameplay, just a bunch of sneaking bullshit with terrible gunplay. The story is horrible, predictable, and generic. It's just a ripoff of Dawn of the Dead, but somehow worse than that movie. You take a simple concept like that, like End of the World, but you make it even worse with terrible characters like Joel and Ellie. I'm glad Joel died in Last of Us 2. He was a trash character. Ellie was a trash character in this game. They made her even worse in the second game. These characters weren't good. They weren't beloved. Yeah, people praising this game like it's some unique game, like it's some misunderstood masterpiece. No, it's not. It was never good. It was never well made. It was a shitty movie simulator to capitalize off the success of garbage like Heavy Rain, Uncharted, all these other shitty games. And then they spawned all these imitators like the God of War games, the Horizon Zero Dawn games that just have no uniqueness to them, no soul, no passion, no identity. This game is trash, and it always will be. It represents the absolute worst of gaming. Naughty Dog is horrible. They used to be good in the 90s, and they just when they moved their base of operation to California, when they changed production staff, whatever, they just turned to shit and started producing garbage like this. Horrible. Next up is every Assassin's Creed game ever made. Now this list could have been chocked full of Ubisoft games, but as it stands, Assassin's Creed is nothing but a poor man's Prince of Persia, but not as good. Every Assassin's Creed game looks, sounds, plays alike. If you took footage from one Assassin's Creed game and took footage from another one, you would not be able to tell which is which. You know, a lot of fanboys, a lot of contrarian fanboys will say the Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and Brotherhood, that was the golden age of Assassin's Creed. After that, it turned to shit. I'd argue that none of them are good because they all play the fucking same. At least with something like COD, right? You can at least tell which is different based off the bullshit, the new bullshit added. With the Dark Souls games, you can tell which game is which because they just copy and paste a new setting, but with the same exact fucking gameplay. But Assassin's Creed, yeah, they'll try to change like the country or whatever, but all of the settings look the exact same. The gameplay is the same. You're doing the exact same thing. All the stories in these games are horrible. There's nothing interesting or, deep about the story in these games, and the gameplay is just the same watered down shit. They tried to separate it, separate the new titles from the old by adding these shitty tacked on RPG elements, tried to make it open world. And idiots buy this shit. They buy these garbage ass games. They make a game every year. This is the textbook definition of the most, repurposed, reprinted franchise next to COD. This and Assassin's Creed or just share those COD and Assassin's Creed just share those similarities of just rinse and repeat garbage along with other Dark Souls games. Funny how a lot of these franchises on this list are just the same rinse and repeat bullshit games. But yeah, Assassin's Creed is just horrible. Just a poor man's Prince of Persia, but will never capture the charm and integrity of the classic era PS2 era Prince of Persia games. Fuck this franchise. Next up on the list is Metal Gear Solid 3. Now, the entire Metal Gear Solid franchise has always been cheesy, corny, predictable garbage with terrible gameplay, terrible stories. You'll have these Kojima fanboys sucking this off, trying to analyze it. It's so deep and complex. The nuance between these characters, the patriotism shown in this character really represents the intricate nature of Kojima's higher level thought, or some bullshit like that. But no, there's nothing sophisticated about anything in the Metal Gear Solid franchise. Just cheap bullshit, tacked on garbage, references to bullshit that nobody cares about with bad gameplay, bad characters. People like to rave about this game and say the story is so good. Snake's inner, conflict with Big Boss is just so inspiring, so emotional. That scene where he had to kill Big Boss was one of the most garbage scenes I've ever seen in gaming. I was supposed to be impressed by that when he killed her. I was supposed to be suppressed. Was that supposed to be some groundbreaking scene? That scene was trash. Every cutscene in this game is cringeworthy, along with the dialogue, along with the gameplay, along with the motion capture. Metal Gear Solid 3 is trash, just like every other Metal Gear Solid game. Stop dick riding Kojima, especially after he made that trash ass Death Stranding. He just has no credentials whatsoever left. No respect. Never had respect for him for making this trash franchise known as the Metal Gear Solid franchise. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 is just complete trash, overrated garbage, not a good game. None of the Metal Gear Solid games are good, and they never will be. Trash.